writer's workshop. Now, when I got started in writer's workshop years ago, I love the idea of it. I love the premise that we were going to go around the circle thing, right? We were going to start with a mini lesson. We were then going to move into independent practice, and then we were going to share out, and it would be lovely and wonderful and perfect. For me, that's not what happened. I found that a lot of my students, they weren't using the things that I taught in the lesson. They weren't sure what to write about. They weren't sure if they were doing it correctly. If they were writing long enough, they'd get really stuck and they didn't know what to write about. And basically I ended up with just like a bunch of behavior problems instead of like this beautiful writer's workshop, right? So then for me, two things happened. One, in the middle of my career, I stopped. I'm a children's book author, and I left and I went to become an author full-time for like 6 or 7 years. So I got really immersed in the world of writers, authors, all of that, what that life is like, and realized that there were things that we do as professional authors that should be happening in our classrooms, but they aren't. And there's some like certain little tweaks that I realized could change this. Second thing that happened, I had a kid and he got into baseball, and I noticed that whenever I would go to his baseball practices, they always had these team captains who would, and they're like 8 years old, they're leading this group doing these warm-ups, all these exercises, and the coach is like out in the field, putting the bases up, getting everything ready, not doing anything. The kids are running it themselves, doing a great job at it. Then the coach like swoops in, teaches something, focuses something, and then we play and we practice, and then they help each other out. And I thought, maybe there's a way to take the concept of like being a professional author, all the things that we do to meet our goals and write every day, which are skills that our kids need to have. And then also involve the kids as much as possible in the workshop. So I tweaked it and I found this new system that I love and that is working. The kids are writing volumes. They're very involved. They know what to do. Behavior problems have gone down. It's super helpful. So I'm going to share with you 5 steps if you want to launch a writer's workshop, maybe if you want to revamp your writer's workshop or starting fresh in the fall. There's 5 things that I would say that you could do to launch it successfully. So let's go over to the screen and I'll show you what I do. Okay, so here's how I get my writer's workshop started every year. I start with these 5 steps in order to get it off the ground. Number 1, I start with the mood. I always make sure that my room is set up in a way that creates an ambiance, a style, a feel. It has like, I turn the lights down, I turn the twinkle lights up. I have these slides that I put up on the screen that have quotes from famous authors. With a background of library books and stuff. And I try and make the room feel like it's very, very special. It kind of brings them down, especially when they're coming in from recess or something and they're about to do writer's workshop. They get the feel that what they're about to do is different from everything else they've done. We also work on number 2, issuing the challenge, which is what they are going to be doing that day. The kids make goals, and this is kind of an overview video, so I'll be getting into more detail about how I set up their goal setting and all of that and how the students handle that. But I have them choose what they want to write about, but they do have to keep it within like a specific number of choices, because it's sort of like, you know how when you go look for a movie on Netflix and then you end up spending 45 minutes just looking for a movie on Netflix and then you never really watch one. And that's one of the big problems with Writer's Workshop, is if there's too big, like, oh, you can write about anything in the world that you want, they will just, it's like deer in the headlights. So I give them a specific set. We talk about genre. And then we also talk about, there are like some challenge words. I'll use some game spinners and stuff like that so they can have some choices. Student leaders, this is a big part of the program. I always have the kids start off the workshop. So they have a script that they actually read. And then I have timekeepers and I have assistants. So everybody has a job, and I'll get into more details as I get through all these videos. So keep looking back for those. They find out what their goals are for the day, their line count that they want to do. They have the other students draw a line on their paper, like how far down they want to write that day. They have some of them share out before they even start reading or writing about what their goal is for the day. And then the timekeeper decides that, okay, it's time for the teacher to take the stage and do a short mini lesson. And that takes us to number 4. I do these power lessons that are only about 5 to 10 minutes, which usually comes out to be about like 7 minutes. And the kids time me. And so I get really in there on what we're supposed to do. And I only do 6 different power skills that we focus on. And then we rotate through them all the time. I'll get more into how do you do the 6 skills versus what do you do when you're doing like an essay. And then finally, this is the big part, your diamond mining. After they're doing their writing, if they have questions, they go to the student leader, but you've done some writing and then you're going to walk around and look for diamonds, which is anything that if they were, trying something new, if they were being risky, if they used the skill that they taught that day, you're going to go on a little hunt and find it and then go write it on the board or type it onto your computer and put it up on your screen. So the kids want to be found. They want to be the one that was spotted out of the whole group, to be the one that there is the example sentence to put up on the board. So I'll be getting into more of this with you guys and on this whole series about how I run my writer's workshop. Subscribe because I'll put up new videos every week. I'll put some links down for you so you can check out my post and any other products that I have that might help you out. So I hope this helps. Thanks for listening.